8.5 hours in. 2 hours to go.
We're on an elk hunt in northern Alberta. We put a lot of phone calls together. A good friend of mine had called me and said, hey, listen, I'm already up north. We're on an elk hunt right now. One of the guys couldn't make it to camp, and we'd be more than happy to have you guys join us, and I'd be happy to help you by seeing if we can call in a bull elk for you. So the adventure was on.
Live on the edge, 'cause brother, win or lose, it's all in what you do with the chance you're given. Yeah, through the wind and rain, you feel your heart pounding. You got one shot, what you got? Tell me what's it gonna be? You gotta make the most of this opportunity. If others fail, make sure you succeed. On the edge.
The Edge is sponsored by Seek Thermal, Prime Archery, Cabela's, Hornady, Vortex, High Mountain Seasonings, Browning, G5 Outdoors, Stealth Cam, Grizz Targets, Hawk, Jim Bowes Archery, Driving Force, The Enforcer, Plano Field Locker, On the Money, and Outdoor Edge, makers of the sharpest, strongest replacement blade knives.
Only 8.5 hours in. 2 hours to go.
It's been an interesting year when it came to elk hunting. We had a fantastic hunt in British Columbia, and we were very much looking forward to hunting elk in Alberta as well. And that trip happened to be right after my British Columbia hunt. So on our way back from British Columbia, we were celebrating our success and talking of some of the stories of what had happened while we were in BC. And we got a phone call, and the phone call wasn't a good call. Unfortunately, one of the horses that was supposed to be packing our gear was kicked, and the horse had gone lame, and unfortunately they were canceling the northern Alberta elk hunt that I had planned. Last minute, we started scrambling. We put a lot of phone calls together, and we managed to come up with an elk hunt in northern Alberta. So a good friend of mine, Brent, had called me and said, hey, listen, I'm already up north. We're on an elk hunt right now. One of the guys couldn't make it to camp, and we'd be more than happy to have you guys join us, and I'd be happy to help you by seeing if we can call in a bull elk for you. So the adventure was on. Originally, we were going on a camp that was all set up for us and ready to go. So all we were taking was sleeping bags and our gear for the hunt. And all of a sudden now we had to pack a trailer, we had to get everything ready because this was a completely different hunt from what we were expecting. So in a 24-hour period, we managed to get the trailer out of storage, get it loaded up with water, get all of our gear inside of it, get ourselves set up with food, and get ready for this hunt in northern Alberta with Brent.
I haven't really been able to see the lay of the land here because we came in so late, so tell me a little bit about what we're looking at this morning.
Well, it's a pretty nice area. There's good number of critters around and stuff, and they're going, so we should be okay. Hopefully we'll get into them and stuff, but the wind's been a problem for us, so
we'll see how today goes.
Yeah. It's calming down, so I think we'll be okay. So
okay.
So the first day of our hunt has begun. We got up bright and early, well before the sun came up, and made our way into a particular area that Brent wanted to go, where he had had some sightings of elk and some activity that was going on. Obviously we're in the rut, and the elk were talking. We went into some pretty interesting areas. There was a lot of elk activity. You could see there was a lot of sign. The most exciting part is where the area that we started in was just filled with rubs. There was so many elk rubs all over the place that you couldn't help but get excited, and you knew you were in an area that was holding a lot of elk. A lot of it was a lot flatter hunting than what I'm used to. I'm used to hitting the mountains and heading up to 7,000 feet, and most of the time it's straight up. In this case, it's a lot more treed and wooded area, so you're hunting from cut line to cut line, or small area to the next small area, where you can get a little visual to see, and there was a lot of really unique settings. There were some areas where some water was being held, and some ponds that just gave a very majestic piece of scenery for us to see on our actual walks. We continued hunting and kind of just poking along. We weren't moving through on a fast pace. We had stopped up in an area where we actually had some visual, where we could see down a little bit lower and see if anything was moving through. And just like that, bang, there was a loud shot. And we got excited because we knew Brent was hunting below us. So we eagerly went back to camp. We knew that there was nothing else going to be coming in for us that particular night. So we headed back to camp and waited eagerly for Brent to return.
This segment brought to you by Jimbo's Archery.
That's the story?
That's the story. Well, I missed one. How's that for a story?
Oh, I heard the one shot.
Yeah,
That was you guys right below us.
yeah, he was.
Like it was a hit.
He was a lot further than I thought he was. So I went below him. He was like 400 yards. He paced off after. It's like,
What nice.
nice big bull, mature bull.
Really?
Yeah, I know. That's the way I feel too. Really? That's what I just kept saying. Like, I can't believe it.
So what?
I didn't hold
You
high
guys were
enough.
just walking and he
So
just
we were-
came across?
Right.
What'd you shoot for?
250.
Oh.
Yeah, my rangefinder's in my bow case.
Yeah.
We didn't even talk about yardage really. We just kind of whatever. I just did it on my own and stuff, and just.
We were pumped, we were waiting. We were sitting on the doorstep. We just said 10 minutes ago, I'm like, okay, they're doing it all on their own. They haven't come to ask for help, so we're cooking supper.
The good news is the end part. The rest of it, not good.
Yeah. Well, actually, I hate to say it, but the good news for us, because we didn't really have your supper, because I only got 3 steaks.
Oh, well, there's only 2 of us.
We got up with 100% positive energy that today was our day.
Gorgeous morning, we got no wind, so it looks like it's going to be a pretty nice one. What's the game plan? What are you thinking?
Yeah, we'll go up. We'll hit across the beaver pond there, and then we'll do a little bit of a start there, do some calls, see if we get anything that gives us the direction, and then we'll split up, and we'll both kind of be working the wind pretty good. You got a crosswind, and I'll be into it. They're there. They're just maybe a little quieter than normal.
Okay, so let's go make it happen. The light is coming.
Yeah, it's looking good. I'm excited.
Okay, perfect.
Right, let's do her.
We decided to go on a long walk. We did decide to go into a different area that was a little bit higher up, so we were getting some altitude and climbing. But what we found when we got into that area was a lot more moose country than it was elk country. The elk had been there, and I'm not going to say that we didn't see any sign of elk being in the area, but we definitely seen a lot more sign of this was an area that the moose were transitioning through.
So we got about a half an hour of light left. We've got Kim we sent down to a little channel that's back in behind there.
The unfortunate part of day 2 is we didn't have a lot of action. We did a lot of walking, we seen a lot of country, but had no interaction with any elk that were in the area. It seemed like they had almost shut up. They just weren't talking anymore. There wasn't a lot of chatter, which was there previous. And it could be the case of having extra hunters move into the area. A lot of times they start to get a little bit of pressure and the elk will get quiet. They know that you're there looking for them and they don't want to be found. So even though they're in that period where they're typically quite chatty, these elk had decided to go quiet on us. The next morning we got up, eager, ready to go. It was quite unique because the area that we were staying in was actually an old elk farm.
Well, the elk hunting season's been a tough one so far. We've been working hard, just haven't been able to get her done, but we're in luck. We did some permission seeking this morning and we found a really nice piece of property. We've seen some big bulls on it, and I got permission from the landowner this morning to go in there. So, I'm hoping that today's the day we're gonna go in and make it happen. Should be able to get myself a big bull. Well, we're pulling camp this morning. We got some intel that we've got some elk over in a different area, and so we packed up everything and we're heading over there. We got about a 2-hour drive to get to where we're going, and we're gonna start at square one. But we've got some sightings on elk, and the elk are talking over there, so we're making the move.
This segment brought to you by Stealth Camp.
So we arrived at Helgie's camp. We were super excited about, yet another adventure for us. And so we got there, and of course I was full of thanks for Helgie inviting us over into an area that he had pre-scouted and had been working with a couple of the guys to get into an area that was holding a lot of elk. And so he sat down and gave us the game plan and told us what we'd be doing and where we'd be going. And we got ourselves ready and headed out for that evening. And just kind of pre-scouted to get ourselves familiar with the area so that we knew what we were doing for the next morning. The next morning came along and we got up bright and early. We got there with plenty of darkness left to walk in, and I had a long, about a 2-mile walk to get to where I was supposed to position myself and get ready for the morning. It was an area that the elk were feeding out into the field and then moving back right at sunup. And we didn't walk down this trail for very far, and I could see out in the field there was elk that were moving through the field. So of course, you know, anytime you see elk, you know you're in a good position that you know, something good was going to happen for that particular morning.
Sounds like you went into the bush. Let's go over to this ridge.
We continued to walk along, and as we walked along, I was watching the elk, and they were out in the field about 600-700 yards away from me, and they were walking at about the same pace as we were. So we were trying to be extremely quiet and get ourselves into position so that we could head them off before they headed into the bushes. We got ourselves down into the corner and we started watching out in the field, and you know, unfortunately the elk weren't there. They got longer legs, they could move a little faster, and they had gone in. And so we stood and enjoyed the morning, and then decided to continue moving down the cut line in the direction that the elk were moving, because I knew eventually they were going to want to move themselves down into the valley which was below us. We moved our way along that morning and hunted quite hard right up until noon, and unfortunately couldn't get anything that would step out that gave us the opportunity to put a bull down, but definitely enjoyed the morning. And it doesn't matter, you know, sometimes you're not successful in your hunt, but just being in an environment and having the elk talk to you was a really exciting experience for me. So the next day we changed our game plan and decided to do something a little bit different. We knew the elk were out in the field for the evening, through the evening, feeding, but they were coming in really early. So right at sunrise, they were already heading into the bushes, which didn't give us a lot of opportunity to catch them out in the field. So what we decided to do is try to get ahead of them and wait for them to come to us. And it was interesting because we got into where I wanted to be, and I could hear this bull elk bugling the whole way through it. And he got to the very last set of bushes that were in front of us, that were probably, you know, 200 yards by 500 yards, and he held up, and the bugling slowed down. And you know, at that time we thought, okay, he's positioning himself to head down into the valley, and so we wanted to be in a position that we could try to cut him off. And we spent quite a bit of time that morning waiting for him to come out, and we never seen him come out. So we thought, you know what, he must have got ahead of us. He must have got into the valley already, and we're going to move our way down into the valley and just take our time and see what happens. We went down into the valley, and it was very thick terrain, very steep, to be quite honest. So it was a little bit of a difficult transition to move down into this valley and chase these elk. Within about 200 yards of us getting down into the valley, though, we heard a bugle, and the bugle came from below. And it doesn't matter who you are, the excitement level all of a sudden is sky high, and you're ready to go. At one point, we got into a position where I could hear the bull and I could hear movement in the bushes, and so I hunkered down and I actually got a visual of the bull, and he was a good sized bull, so I was pretty excited at that particular time. The hard part of being down in some of these valleys, there's a lot of trees, and so the visual is tough, and so through a set of about 30-40 trees, I could see this bull moving down and had decided it was going to come back in and check on us. I could see him, he lit up with a full bugle, which was blood curdling and excitement. We got to the top of the hill and started to move our way down the ridge, and bang, he was right there in front of us. He was 20 yards away from me, standing in a big thicket of trees. All I could see was just a little bit of his chest, and I could see these great big horns that came out. Super exciting moment. I got the gun up, I was ready to go, and you know, it was a tough shot. I was trying to shoot between a couple of trees with not a lot of room, so the precision had to be completely accurate, and I wanted to hit him straight on and take him straight on in the chest.
This segment brought to you by Seek Thermal.
I felt confident in doing what I was doing, so I thought, you know what, I'm going to take this shot. I can put it through the wickets and make this happen. The unfortunate part is I didn't put it through the wickets, and I hit one of the trees, and he was shot like a rocket. He was out of there, and we tried to pursue and follow, but you know, obviously at that point, once you take a shot, they know that you're there. They're going to go a long ways away, and you're not going to find him again. And he definitely wasn't going to start responding to our calls again. So we decided that that was it for the morning for us. We were going to head uphill.
Well, holy smokes. I don't know how far we walked, but we've come a long ways.
Yeah.
He was close. So we trailed him for what? Half mile?
Yeah.
And got behind him, and there was another bull bugling up the ridge. And so we kind of stayed in between. We did a lot of cow calls. He got pissed right off, and he came in really quick. We hadn't even set up yet.
No.
We were just moving into a spot, and all of a sudden there's the bull, boom. And he was what, 50 yards from you?
Not even 40 yards tops.
Just right there, and you won't see much of them, but that's the way it is in here. I mean, if you look at this terrain, you're usually pretty close when you get your shots.
Well, it's thick. You're trying to put it slide it right between two trees, right?
And Jeff touched one off, but too much stuff in the way.
As we started to head uphill, we had heard a shot, and a little bit of excitement because we knew we had another party that was out there. We knew Brent was up there, and when we got to the top, there was Brent standing at the top of the ridge, and he was all excited because he had heard that I had shot, and talked to me and said, "Hey, you know, did you get one?" And I said, "No, unfortunately I missed." I said, "But I heard a shot. Did you get one?" And Brent, big smile came across his face, and I knew right away that he had downed a big bull.
So, how'd you make out?
Good. He came out.
What was funny is that Brent ended up shooting the bull that we had heard that stopped bugling. So where we went down into the valley thinking this bull had snuck across and made it down into the valley, the bull had actually held up. And so he had a couple of cows that he stayed with, and he decided that was going to be his area for the morning, and he didn't come out of the bushes where we had originally heard him from.
6 point. That's a cranker. That's a beautiful, holy, wow.
Look at that, eh? Look at that bull. Holy crap, he's pretty mature, that guy, just about a 7.
So Brent was smart enough to stay up there and listen, and the bull did give another bugle apparently, and so Brent knew that the bull was in there, and he made his way slowly in, ended up getting to within about 100 yards of the actual bull, and managed to put him down.
Well done, sir. Well done.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
That's fantastic.
It's been a hard week.
So what'd you do? So you came in, how did you come in on him?
Yeah, so I saw the cow standing there. She was looking off to the side, so, you know, and I'm looking, and I had heard him in there, and I looking through with the binoculars, and then I could see him, and it's like, ooh, that's a big bull. I'm like, okay, that's the guy I'm after, right? So then I just kind of trying to find a lane to get a shot. Couldn't get a shot. 15, 20 minutes it took before I could get a shot on this guy, because he was behind some stuff, and then he was moving back and forth a little bit. It was just all so tight. Just waited, and she lay. I thought they had gone because she laid down, and I couldn't quite see him. And then I thought, oh, they're gone. And then I could see him moving again, and then he took a couple more steps, and he stepped out. Didn't even step out, but there was a narrow shooting lane to shoot at, and then I got a good shot on him, and down he went, and here we are. Very happy. That's my biggest bull ever. I'm very excited about it, and just, you know, another learning experience of the hunt, and I just love it, and that's what I love about it.
Hunting elk, you've got to be smarter than them, and you've got to be quiet. You know, that was the biggest thing that I took away from this trip. You know, a lot of times we think they can't hear us. A lot of people focus very much on smell, and you know, that's good. And you know, don't get me wrong, having the wind advantage and things like that are extremely important factors when elk hunting. But I can tell you that morning that we were trying to work our way into the bull, you know, there was wind that was swirling through there, and smell was a factor, and we had to work with what we were given to be able to try to get in on this bull, because there was no direction that we could actually come from that would give us the advantage based on the swirling winds. And so we made a decision to just be quiet and work slow. And I can tell you, by just being smart and quiet, we managed to get ourselves in fairly close to a very large bull.
The Edge is sponsored by Seek Thermal, Prime Archery, Cabela's, Hornady, Vortex, High Mountain Seasonings, Browning, G5 Outdoors, Stealth Cam, Grizz Targets, Hawk, Jim Bowes Archery, Driving Force, The Enforcer, Plano Field Locker, On the Money, and Outdoor Edge, makers of the sharpest, strongest replacement blade knives.
So you didn't know, but Seek had sent me one to give to you, so thank you very much for taking me out this week.
Thanks, man.
You betcha.
That's awesome.
I appreciate you calling. I had a fantastic time. Appreciate you letting me come to your little honey hole.
Yeah. It was a lot of fun. I enjoyed having you guys.
You betcha.
I really did.
That's what she's all about. Time to go home though.
Yeah. Yeah, it's getting there, yeah.
Unfortunately.
Yeah. Right on. Well, thanks, Jeff. I appreciate it.
You bet. Thank you.
You bet.